Redskins travel to the Meadowlands to face the Giants tonight on Thursday Night Football. I might be a little bit excited. Washington is 1-1 this season, and New York is winless at 0-2. We asked you guys earlier in the show to vote on Twitter which team will have the better season. The results are in. 56% say the New York Giants. Mark Schlereth is here, our Super Bowl champ, who's shaking his head. He played 6 years with the Redskins, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. How are you, Mark?
Just further proving the point that most people on Twitter are idiots.
Oh!
56% choose the Giants.
Oh.
Have you not watched the 2 games they've played? I know they've been ahead in the fourth quarter in both games, but have you watched either line of scrimmage when you're talking about the Washington Redskins versus the New York Football Giants?
Don't
because the New
side-eye
York
us because you're
Football
friends up
Giants
here.
couldn't block their way out of a wet paper sack. It's a 2-man team, essentially, on the offensive side. 3-man. It's Eli to Odell Beckham Jr. And then Shane Vereen out of the backfield. Beyond that, they don't have anybody that's playing any good as far as getting things done on the offensive side of the football. The Washington Redskins are dominating. They should be 2-0. They're dominating the line of scrimmage right now. They have Alfred Morris ran for 100 yards in week 1. They had another 100-yard back last week.
Matt
Jones was phenomenal. I'm telling you what, as long as they don't turn the ball over, their defense is playing great. I think they're #1 in the league as far as yards concerned on the defensive side and on the offensive side. They've been great. I mean, flat out great. And the bottom line is you control the line of scrimmage in this. You know, we get all this. We talk about periphery players, and we talk about receivers and quarterbacks, and we talk about running backs, and we get all Twitter-pated over all those things. Bottom line, you don't control the line of scrimmage in this league, you don't win. And the Washington Redskins are flat out dominating the line of scrimmage right now.
So to be clear, the Redskins will have the better season.
There's no question the Redskins will have a better season. They're a better football team.
All right.
Right now, they are a better football team.
By the way, don't you read on Twitter what people write back to you?
All the time, yeah.
That's what I thought. So why would you waste your time? Just a question. I don't know.
What, with Twitter? Reading them?
Why would you read what they say if they're
Because they entertain me.
Okay.
I'm very entertained by all the hate that comes my way. Okay. I love it. Bring it on. I've got thick skin. I can handle it. There's no virgin meat on this behind.
No, it's hater.
Yeah.
Haters.
I really don't have much to add. I mean,
He's got your back.
I just think Schlereth was just brilliant. And you know, in his elocution, just the things that he said, and you know, the content of his information. The Redskins have dominated at both lines of scrimmage. I told you how they looked. They didn't just sneak up on the Washington Redskins. They ran the ball effectively, but more importantly, their defense is stout. When you consider the fact that they're the 3rd-ranked defense in the NFL, #1 in yards allowed, and the way that they're playing, and you consider the fact that all Eli Manning appears to have is Odell Beckham Jr., a 2nd-year receiver, and a guy like Shane Vereen, who came over from the New England Patriots, that's not going to be enough to beat the Redskins so long as Kirk Cousins doesn't turn the ball over.
100%.
And why should we expect him to turn the ball over when he has not one but 2 100-yard rushers over the last 2 weeks of the season? And Matt Jones and Alfred Morris. I can give the football to them to run the ball about 40 times a game, and they should be just fine.
They're doing a great job managing him. Now, he had 1 boneheaded interception in week 1.
Yep.
I'll get 3-man rush, 8-man drop. He moved out of the pocket to his right, and he threw it into the flat, a lollipop into the flat, and I think Brett Grimes picked it off. And it was just like one of those, like, dude, what are you doing? Beyond that, last week, the guy was great, controlled the tempo of the game, threw it to his tight ends on the crossing routes. He just made smart plays. I think he had 203 yards passing, something of that nature.
Yes.
But he doesn't need to. At 1 touchdown, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, this team will win a bunch of football games based on the way they run the ball.
Give me a bunch.
Which
Give me a
means
bunch.
that happens.
I need to hear a bunch.
If that happens,
10, 11?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about, you know, my expectations, let's say
9 and 7.
Okay.
9 and 7?
My expectations for the Washington Redskins coming into the season, I think, are very much like your expectations. Hey, if they win 4 games, I'd be, you know, like, hey, that's where they are. They're going to win a heck of a lot more than 4 games. The way they're playing right now, they got a chance.
9?
They've got a chance to win. Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
They got a shot.
9. Yeah, absolutely.
I need to see more, but right now, based on what I'm seeing thus far, I wouldn't surprise if they go 9 and 7. And as much as we've criticized him over the last year and a half, let's take a moment to give Mr. Jay Gruden credit.
Okay.
Talking to some guys in the NFL, they say the man can coach.
Yeah.
And the way they're playing right now, he looks like he's doing a good job.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
So, if memory serves, I believe this Kirk Cousins started one game against your Giants, your New York Football Giants, last year, and I said, dude, what are you doing 4 times? Not once or twice, 4 times. I said, dude, what are you doing?
That's true.
Because it was just a disaster.
It was.
Remember that?
In Washington.
Okay.
It's horrible.
And both times, Eli absolutely torched this pretty much this same Washington defense that's off to a very good start. And I will be the first to admit they have played better than I thought, though I must credit Mike Shanahan. He mentioned to me before the year started that this team's going to be a little better than a lot of people think.
Right.
He's dead right about that. And you're right about dominating the line of scrimmage, although this defense was up against a Ryan Tannehill in week 1. He knows this. I don't love him. And I thought that team was being dramatically overrated because some people picked that team to win the AFC East. That is, it was laughable then. It's more laughable now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I even said if Tom Brady gets a 4-game suspension, they still win the East by 2 games.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's where I was.
Okay, but even though this defense is healthier, this Redskins defense, than it was last year, Eli went crazy on them with 4 touchdown passes, then 3 touchdown passes. And Odell Beckham Jr. in the second game, the only game he played, caught 12 balls for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. We will see more of same tonight. And I get you about what you're saying about lines of scrimmage, but I got to tell you, when you are up 10 on my Dallas Cowboys with 5 minutes to go, you have done something right in that game on opening night. That was 23-13, and you have to agree with me, they should have closed that deal. I mean, it was...
Well, they should have closed the deal, but the Dallas Cowboys should have been up by 20 points.
Okay.
I mean, you would have, should have, could have. I mean,
they were in position.
The long fumble return, they had turnovers. It was one of those situations where
it was almost their night. I agree.
Yeah.
But then you're up on the Atlanta Falcons, 20-10. A couple of minutes into the fourth quarter. That's pretty good. I don't think you can get dominated at the line of scrimmage and be up 20-10 on the Falcons. I'm just not sure of that. So they probably should have won both those games to be 2-0. I agree with you. They got issues. Now they don't have Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie tonight. Obviously, Victor Cruz can't go. And Eric Flowers, the left tackle, who's a fine young player. I like him a lot, and he's
doubtful.
doubtful.
Came out of the game last week, doubtful?
He's doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play either.
I got a question for you, because I'm just curious, and I don't know if you've noticed this. Last week when they played St. Louis, Redskins started 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
They started Reed, they started Carey and McCoy. Could you explain why that is?
That is because
I don't see
run the football.
Okay.
I guess
well, it's very much what the New England Patriots do. This is the offense in many ways that I came into in the league. With the Washington Redskins, when there was Donnie Warren and Ronnie Middleton and Terry Orr and all those guys, and it was really a 1-back, 2 and 3 tight end offense. Oftentimes, now we had the 3 receivers and the 1-backs as well. But what they're doing is very much what the New England Patriots do with their multiple tight ends formations, which is we can come in this thing out of that personnel and play it heavy. So we can basically say we're going to run it down your throat, but we're also good enough to come into those formational situations with those 3 tight ends, and we can throw it out of that because our guys can match up, and that's exactly what they're doing. Jordan Reed. That guy is playing.
He can ball.
He can play.
As long as he's healthy, he can ball.
Great football. But the thing that surprised me last week is he's locked up, and this was game plan specific. And I don't know how much you'll see of that tonight. It just depends on the team you're playing. I would assume, but they just locked up on defensive ends with their tight ends against the Rams. They locked up against Quinn. They locked up against Long, and they said, you know what? We can dominate the edge of the line of scrimmage just with our tight end formations, and they flat out did it.
Let me tell you why I asked you that question, and I want you both to tell me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking when you got your 3 tight end set, it's not just about getting somebody to help you block, but can also pass catch for you. It's about making sure that you're basically letting everybody know you're going to restrict yourself to short yardage situations. You're not trying to look for the long ball pretty much at all. You're going to pound it with Matt Jones and Alfred Morris, and you're going to have those 3 tight ends. And I looked at it as strategizing to cushion things for Kirk Cousins and basically send the message: we're going to beat you up. Right. What you going to do about it? Am I right in saying that?
That's 100% right. The other thing is in the passing game, you're going to get favorable matchups. I mean, think about week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers when New England loaded the box with 3 tight ends, and all of a sudden, down to the goal line in the red zone, bam, they explode out. 1 minute, they run a slant with Gronkowski, and they run a drag to Chandler. Chandler catches for a touchdown. Next time, they go right back down. They get in that same formation. Bam, they explode out of it. This time, they run the fade to Gronkowski. Last week, did the exact same thing last week, and they split that out to Gronkowski's side. Chandler and Gronkowski on this side. They threw a fade on the other side to another tight end.
Well, the first one you described, the first one you described is what Tom Jackson calls the rub route, correct?
Yeah, that's one. Right? That's a rub route. Yeah, was it Chandler over there? But the same formation, 3 tight ends. So they get these favorable tight end on linebacker matchups in Washington as well. And I tell you, because you have to make a decision as a defense. You got to say, well, they're in big, they're in heavy personnel, they're in Trey, and they're going to run the ball down our throats, and that's embarrassing. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to line up our heavy personnel, and then all of a sudden it's like, matchup nightmare for you because our tight ends can
get
done.
You got Redskins tonight, right?
Yes.
Big.
Well, what do you mean by big?
Couple touchdowns?
No.
Dominate line of scrimmage?
I got to win at 23-20.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're not going to be one of those teams that are going to light it up for 38 points. You know, they're just not going to. That's not how they're going to win. They're going to win games 24-17. That's what they're going to win. That's how they win.
Okay. I got Giants 30-21, and I got Giants going 9-7 to the Redskins 7-9.
And I'll give you 7-9. Winning 23-20. I'll reserve the right to see what kind of record they're going to get this season.
Okay. Well, what about Giants? Do you think they're how many did they win this year?
From what I've seen, I don't see the Giants winning more than 7 games.
Okay. That will be the end of Tom Coughlin. Yes, you're right about that.
Yes, it will.
The Redskins are 4-17 in primetime games, the worst in the NFL. Just wanted to point that out. Hail to the Redskins. Mark, it's always good to see you. A decision has been made about the future of the high school kids who targeted a referee. We will react to that decision after the break.